there's medical direction. For me, there's medical direction, there's medical examiner stuff, there's, just being involved in that group, bringing good care, this group, and doing more of a transport service type group, and then there's also tactical EMS. And so these are all aspects of emergency medicine that you should be aware of and be involved with. But I think that's essentially it. I don't have any other things to really add to that. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions right off the top there?
How many people have had a transport where a gunshot victim was involved?
Here.
We did a parallel for, over in Jody, Wisconsin. We had a kid pull in front of his face up, and we was sitting on the cot talking to him.
Yep.
Guy's bottom jaw was gone, didn't know how to control the air there.
That's the same
Yeah,
thing.
that kid just came back in the other day. You cited a kid. Heather Ward, who's over in Joe Davis, she's in Galena, she knows the kid. So, I think the majority of the cases I've seen have been people that are sad that shoot their faces off with shotguns. Again, alluding to the fact that this is Iowa, and you hunt deer with shotguns, and people like to, at least they could pheasant hunt in the old days. I don't even find a freaking pheasant anymore. Back in the day.
Go to Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin, okay. So, or you go out west, you go to western Iowa, and maybe find one. But yeah, it's all slugs and it's all shot around here. So those are the ubiquitous guns. So it's important to have a good handle on a shotgun. If I come out of a game, I can bring a shotgun out and talk about pump action versus single shot versus break action versus overrun and all that stuff. But that's about a 5-minute talk. It's pretty self-evident. But shotguns and double-aught bugs / turkey loads, things like that. And then just to go through chokes, and you pretty much know everything you need to know about a shotgun and how a shotgun works. It's pretty self-evident. Most kids around here, I find that if they've ever hunted, they know how to disassemble and put their shotgun in their Remington or their Mossberg in no time at all. And if people are going to shoot themselves in the head, they're going to do it with a shotgun typically because they think it's fatal. But then that's another talk about forensics. They're leaning forward and they blow off their chin, or they don't get up to their brain cavity, and so it's very sad. It's sad when a kid gets to that position in their life and they want to cave their head in with a gun.
Anything, so if we're taking, say, a gunshot victim out of one of the hospitals here in town,
Right.
That's pretty good ER that they're at. We
Right.
take care of a lot of the smaller ones, so
Sure.
we're picking somebody up at Galena or Darlington,
Yeah.
or, some places that could be called a Band-Aid station. Just
Right.
keep going, and here we are, we've got an hour en route. Other things for us to think about, or?
Yeah, hopefully they stabilize them, and I think that's the other thing. If you get to a situation and things haven't been done properly, looks like he has a spinning hematoma in his neck. We're probably going to address that, doctor. It looks like his airway is an issue. Maybe we should get this guy tubed before he goes. His breathing's not so good. You sure there's not a tension pneumothorax, stuff like that. And that's why you would want to be aware of these things. I'm hoping it doesn't become a recurrent thing where you get really good at gunshot wounds. Like, we're excellent at gunshot wounds. We take care of so many gunshot wounds. But I think it's always going to be, my experience has always been, it's the simple stuff that jams me up. I didn't look at the patient's vital signs before I sent him home, or we send somebody out and something bad happened. So why is his heart rate up? Can we explain why the heart rate's up? Or why is the pressure kind of dipping down? Doctor, you can see the pressure is dipping down. The last several pressure came in, he was in the 150s, now his systolic's down around 100. Can we maybe just do another set before he goes? I think heading stuff off at the pass is kind of your best bet. And then sometimes things just don't work out, and you get in the rig and then things go kind of AWOL, and then they go bad, and then you have to deal with that. But if there's any need to intubate somebody, get those things set up ahead of time, I think I would. I think so much of emergency medicine is thinking like 5 steps ahead. Like, if I have X, Y, and Z, or can you do this for me, or we need to have this set up before we go, so then we can ward off evil spirits. I guess that's my thought. I'd rather have people just be nimble in their thinking than be really rigid and say, we need to have X, Y, and Z done in the protocol. This was not done. There's been a lot of talk with your management about making you more of a professional service, and it's a push to make EMS into sort of what it is in other countries, and I think that's great. And I think because of that, you won't always be using protocols. Sometimes you have to think for yourself. It's a lot of interaction and talking to people and saying, you sure we couldn't do this? Or maybe he needs some blood or whatever. Not to get too ostentatious and too outside the box, but I think that's my thought on that. And I had a lady yesterday ended up having an aneurysm repair that was done several years ago, had a little leak, and then she's had recurrent episodes of sepsis, and then she just went out on us. She was fine. I had her in the ER for 4 hours, and I had to call air care, and then we had to intubate her, and we're going to do a central line right as air care was about to take her off. So sometimes it's just bad luck. and you might be transporting a gunshot wound victim to someplace, to Madison or someplace like that, and then they just go bad on you, and then you're bagging them the whole time, or you lose pulses, and you just have to do what you have to do. I mean, I think it won't be perfect. You won't be in paradise until you're dead, and hopefully in heaven. You know what I mean? Otherwise, this whole place is like a bad night in a bad hotel. And bad stuff happens all the time. That's my take on life, having worked in emergency medicine for a while. That's about like a 10-minute answer to your 5-second question. That's my thought.
Yeah,
That's my
for the
thought.
piece, I know it came up sometimes, like, with transfer, say, out of Delaney going to Rockford, it's kind of an example of when we had a paramedic thought, we really needed this patient intubated.
Right.
Kind of mentioned it to the doc in there, and we ended up with the transfer going on it, and really should have.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the patient got intubated as soon as they went through the door.
Right.
At Rockford. And so the paramedic comes back and says, you know, God, how can I tell the doc?
Right?
I think we should be intubated.
Yeah.
But you're talking the smaller ER, it's not like.
I think some of those guys are scared shitless of RSI. I think that's the deal. Even some of my own partners are like, oh, it's gonna get real hairy. You know, and I don't like doing stuff to people either if I can help it. I'd much rather just walk into the ER, take care of a couple cuts and sore throats, make my money and go home. I mean, that's not. I don't really get off on doing stuff. You know, there's a lot of guys that like to do stuff to people. But then you get burned. You know, my mentor was Sing Sang. You know Sing Sang. Everybody knows Sing Sang. And I came out, you know, full of piss and vinegar and thought I was going to do all this stuff to people, and then Sing Sang kind of set me straight and said, you know, listen, Mark, you don't want to be doing stuff to people all the time. If they don't need to be intubated, don't intubate them. And some of my partners really get off on doing stuff, and central line, intubation, chest tube, art line, you know, every orifice has something sticking out of it. I am a minimalist, and I would admit that readily. I'm not into doing a bunch of stuff. But in EMS and in emergency medicine, when there's a time to act, and you just know when it is, and you're not looking for trouble. You know, and sometimes you paralyze and sedate somebody and you can't get them intubated, and you're like, why did I do that? They're really okay. You know, all these people that overdose, a lot of times you can just ride that stuff out. But that being said, sometimes you need to have stuff done. If you have somebody who's not willing to do it, then you just want to just fall back on your airway skills. And if they really get into trouble, oral airway and bag them. And if you're a paramedic and you're comfortable putting something down and they're unresponsive, you have the RSI on them, you just do it. I mean, because you're a professional, ultimately that's your job. You know, airway is a huge deal. Remember, it used to be the top, it still is in non-penetrating stuff. Airway, breathing, circulation. So, an oral airway and bagging somebody gets you pretty far. You know what I mean by oral airway? You're opening them up. You flip the oral airway in, up against the hard palate, twist it down, and if they're dead to the world, just bag the shit out of them, and then they'll be fine. You can take them all away. Position their neck, the oral airway gets the tongue off the glottis and off those posterior tissues, and you can bag somebody forever. So I mean, the issue is if you insufflate their belly and they puke on you or something like that. But if they're in that bad a shape, then you could probably do that. I mean, if they really go out, then just tube them. If you have the skill set and you're comfortable with it, or you just put like a supraglottic airway, like a can or something like that. So yeah, but these are all like battles that you want to have in your mind. When I walk out of a room and there's any airway in question, I mean, that would be a different talk altogether. Like, what am I thinking? And I won't do anything until I have to. I'm not going to be willy-nilly about it. But when the time to act, like this lady says, I can't breathe. Well, she had attenuated succinylcholine colon and she was intubated. Okay, now you can breathe. Now your pressure's better. Everything's better now. So we brought peace to the kingdom. But before that, everything was in chaos, you know? So I don't know if that answers. I have a tendency to talk too long, so I apologize. But that's my take on that. You do what you have to do. And understand that guy may not want to intubate that patient because he's scared. He's probably crapping his pants if he doesn't want to do it. Now, if you came to my hospital, they'd be fighting each other. They'd be punching each other in the face. That's what they want to do, right? If you don't need a central line with that, I'd love to put a central line in. I love going into necks or whatever. So, does that answer it? You're going to find docs are not all created equal. You know, they're not all going to do the same stuff you want them to do. And you can strongly suggest stuff, but this guy might be a pathologist. He might work for Vopedia or something like that. And he's just staffing the ER. And it's like, I was told this was easy money, and I see 2 patients in a 24-hour shift. What is this shit? I think there's a fair amount of that goes on. So we're ER doctors. We like ER. That's why we do it. That's why we don't want to do inpatient medicine. I don't think that we do too much, but we don't think we do too little either. But some guys would just be scared of that. Because the ramifications of not getting somebody intubated, and if you lose their airway and you can't ventilate them, that's pretty huge. That's why we don't let anybody just willy-nilly RSI stuff, because if you haven't screwed up enough airway cases, then you haven't done enough. If you haven't been, and if you just feel like you could probably crack a diamond with your butt cheeks because you're so tight. If you hadn't felt that way, you call up to the floor and you walk in the room, you never know what you're going to get. You have this thing in the back of your mind like, oh, I think I can get him too, I think I can ventilate him. But he's a frothy mess, and his pulse ox is already like in the 70s, and if I RSI him and I paralyze him and I sedate him, he might just plummet like a stone, and what happens if I can't get him done? And I've seen anesthesiologists shitting themselves too, so I mean, it just takes, I think you see enough of them, you're like, I'll do it when I need to. But but as an EMS person, you know in the back of your head, I have like 5 different things potentially I can do, like 5 different things, and then I'll do those things, and then when one doesn't work, I'll kind of escalate up. Kind of like cops when they say, stop, no, really stop, no, here's pepper spray, no, here's my baton, I'm going to shoot you. You know what I mean? It's the same idea, in keeping with the tactical medicine lecture. You escalate to do what you need to do. But you should think about those things. You should play these things out in your mind, the power of visualization. When I do that, I think about all the bad cases I've had, and then the more I think about it, like, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. And then I see myself doing it. I visualize what I'm going to do to those patients. I visualize all the time. Like, these are the 5 things that can go wrong on this patient. I have an hour-and-a-half trip. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to have all my stuff out. I'm going to have my bougie out. I'm going to have my oral airway out. I'm going to have my bag valve mask out, all that stuff. And then you can look like a star. So you can look like a dumbass, or you can look like a star, you know? So that's my take.
I prefer the scar.
Anyone else?
But,
As a medical director, with this concealed carry stuff, do we have a protocol stating what we are to do with just say a diabetic patient that's got a low blood glucose that is now concealed carry? We can't safely, technically, put them in the back of our ambulance with them having possession of that gun, right?
Yeah, I think they're going off. I'll just talk to them. You get them better, and you say, you know, we're the EMS guys. We're probably not going to, rob you or hurt you or rape you or whatever. You know what I mean? We're EMS. We're professional service. So until we get you back to the point where you feel like you're 100%, we'd like to just put your gun over here. I don't know about putting a lockbox, something like that, and then we'll give you your gun back. But we just want to make sure, because you're not necessarily in your right mind. I mean, that's a portion of emergency medicine. Tactical medicine, you take some guy's gun away from him. So there's a guy who gets shot, and he exsanguinates, he starts to hallucinate, his pressure's low, or he's diabetic, or something happens, and he has a gun. Then you want to make that kind of judgment call right away and say, I think we're going to take that gun off of you so you don't shoot somebody else, shoot a friendly. I think it's the same difference. People should be reasonable about that. You're there to help them. It's not as if you're some stranger and they don't recognize who you are. That's why you wear an outfit and everybody looks the same. So I would definitely recommend that. I don't know if you need a protocol for that, but I think anytime there's a gun, that's why we give talks like this, so you're comfortable. You picked up a gun, you know where the gun is at, kind of how to do it, you're going to point it in the right direction, you can always use zone of fire type safety, you're not going to put it at your friend, at your partner, you're going to stash it where it needs to be. Some people are probably exceedingly comfortable with that, other people are like, oh, that's a gun. But I mean, that's why I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to get everybody to shoot a gun at least once. Oh, that wasn't so bad. And then, because maybe we'll see more of it, I think the media's making a lot of this, and I think ultimately it won't be a big deal. I think those people that want guns, have guns, and have concealed weapons permits. I think the stupid liberals that don't want one are going to say, what are they doing in the legislature? Let's go look at birds. Let's go to opera Niles. That's my take. I don't think it's going to mean anything. I don't think we're going to see a bunch of dead kids. I mean, everybody I know, from the most blue collar type guy to the most learned sort of educated fella when it comes to guns, they all approach them the same way. They're all like, okay, well, we need to have gun safety, especially with hunter safety. Most people with hunter safety, it's the same stuff. I don't see the body count rising or anything like that. I don't think that's going to be an issue for us. It's just like the sort of the political porn that people want to talk about. So they have excitement about it and can talk about it, but it's a non-issue. Some of the people that are involved in these shootings don't have permits to carry, I can tell you that. And the guns are all hot. They came off of somebody, they're off in Illinois.
Since they opened up permits in Iowa, there's been no incidences of gun violence from the new permit holders. So it's shown completely ineffective.
Absolutely.
Here's something just for a show of hands. Who's on a volunteer service also? Which ones? So we got Centralia here.
Cuba City. Cuba.
Minnesota.
Lancaster. Eastview. What other services, volunteer services?
Yeah, we take care of Upworth, I take care of Upworth, and then Clark does Wisconsin, and Hannah does Illinois.
Okay.
So Bellevue, and then Sherrill, a couple others in Iowa. I'm the Iowa guy.
Yeah. So we got a pretty good diverse group, we kind of encourage that to reach out on the volunteer side, too. Some come from it and some go to it there, so.
I mean, Asbury's composed of almost all Dubuque fire guys, it seems like.
Yeah.
They get enough EMS at work, so don't really.
Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend that for sure. I mean, there's no greater gift you can give than to volunteer service and do that stuff, because usually people are pretty screwed up, or they're scared, or whatever happens, but you know that. So then to do that for free, they should give you a tax break. I mean, the municipality
Iowa does.
should give you something.
Iowa does only for volunteers.
Iowa, you get it for volunteering. Wisconsin, they don't care.
Yeah, they should. They should. I don't know why they don't do that. Because, I mean, if you want to encourage people to do that kind of work, they should definitely. I started out east, and I think it's made its way here, but I think some states have not adopted that. But, I mean, that's a pretty big deal to come pick people up. My next door neighbor just came into the hospital yesterday, and Upper picked her up, you know?
Yeah.
She wasn't in very good shape. We got all figured out, but I think I like the volunteer services because of that. Because they're really doing a great service for the community and helping out, so.
We kind of people kind of start out the volunteer service, you don't really get your hands on many patients, and you come here to learn a little bit, and then EMT, get going, and pretty soon when you're back there at their volunteer service, they've handled so much of the job is touching and handling the patient.
Absolutely.
It becomes a second nature and makes everything roll smoothly.
No, I think they would definitely complement each other, for sure. And I think the fire side, if you can do fire, I think fire is very fascinating. I'm my firefighter one, just to say I did it, so I took the class and all that business. And I'd recommend if you're in EMS and you're working here and you don't have your fire one, or you want to try to maybe do that. It's another entire avenue of stuff, and the hazmat stuff is interesting. And then you're kind of positioning yourself as more learned or even a better EMS provider. If you have fire, if you have some understanding of hazmat, that environment, and you can do all your EMS stuff. And that's if you have the time, the inclination, and the service around you. But I would recommend all that. It gives you a better handle on things. So.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.